And welcome everybody that showed up today. Today is Tuesday, October 3rd. Wow, October. Fall is here and everything's happening. Today we're going to talk about layers, masking, layers, blending modes, and fun stuff like that. Just talk about some easy stuff and then go from there. So we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and kick it in. I guess I should share my screen first, huh?
It helps.
That would,
Minor technicality.
yeah, I know. Just not with it today. So let's go to desktop, get rid of that picture. 23 October. Let go. Okay. Shrink that down to the bottom. Um, let me bring this up real quick. In Photoshop, there are several modes in here. Normal, dissolve, darken, multiply, blah, 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 blah. So you go into, let me unlock that. You go into the layer modes up here and you have all these layer modes. And you can see that they're broken down. Each, like, normal, dissolve, and then there's a line across there. Then it goes into darken down to darker color. In fact, this screenshot's old. I need to update it. Um, and then you got lighten, contrast modes, comparative modes, and then composite modes. I use normal, multiply, screen, soft light and overlay. I use those a lot. And I use difference and then also color. Um, Color, you can do all kinds of cool stuff with it as well. So let me go ahead and close that out. Don't save. Go back to, let's go to these two right here. And in Bridge, which is what I use, I selected these two images, and I'm going to go to Tools, down to Photoshop, load files into Photoshop layers. And it takes both of these and it turns it into two layers. There we go. Moon on top and my bird on the bottom. So what I want to do is I want to add the moon to the bird picture. But before I do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bird, Command T to free transform, and I'm just going to drag it down to where it's full screen, the same size as the moon's a huge picture. This one's been shrunk down. So now I put my moon on top. I don't want the black sky to show through. I don't want to have to extract the moon, drop it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from normal mode on my moon, and I'm going to go to, let's say, screen. And I'll probably have to move that bird. So I'll hit V for move tool. I'll have to recrop it, of course. But you can see if I put it in screen mode on the moon sticks out because it's lighter. So if I go to lighten, you're going to get this weird colorization, color dodge, weird linear dodge, and lighter color doesn't work. So screen's the only one that'll work where you just drop it in. And of course, you don't have the color that's there, which you wouldn't want in the daytime anyway. But there's screen mode. If you go into overlay or soft light, ooh, soft light works really good. That matches it up pretty dang good. I'll take that. So I don't have to do any extraction because it did all the work for me. So let's go ahead and change places to where the bird's on top. And I want to bring the moon in. So what I'll do is change the mode on this. I don't want darken. If I go to lighten, screen does the same thing again. Overlay, soft light don't work. Hard light makes it funky. So I'll go back to screen again. And then I got the moon there. So you can use it both ways on your layers. Another way you could do it, let's put the moon back on top again. and we'll change it to normal. So now the moon is dark. So there's a couple of ways I can make the moon disappear. Number one, I can take my magic wand tool, hit W, there's magic wand, click on the black area, and all I have to do is hit the mask, and it masks out the wrong one. No problem. I just hit Command I, which is inverse. And you can see there's a ring around the moon, so I need to fix that. So let's go back a couple steps, Command Z, and we'll go to select, modify, contract. Let's go 2 pixels, and it went the wrong way. Command Z, so we'll inverse the mask or the selection, Command Shift I. Now we'll do an inverse. So we'll go select, modify, contract. We'll do 2 pixels. It should be all it needs. Now we'll add the mask on, and we won't have to do an inverse on it. And it's still not perfect. Okay. So if I go to my properties, put a little feather on there. And it looks like it didn't quite do enough. So let's go back a couple steps again. And you can see I'm just experimenting with this because I haven't played with this before. This is kind of like live and in person. So we're going to contract by 4 pixels this time, do the mask. And it's still got a really rough edge over there, and I don't know why it's doing that. Interesting. Another way you can do it is, let's fill this with black. So we'll hit Option Backspace, black, and then I'll just paint it in with the brush. Soft round brush, paint with white. And I can paint the moon back in what I want of it. Now if I get too much, no problem, I'll go to the white brush, make it a little smaller, and just do the edges. And I'm not being very accurate in doing, I'm just zapping it out really fast, just showing you the technique versus being perfect with it. You can always make it bigger. Paint with black. That's white. I don't want white, I want black. And it makes the whole thing disappear. I got my brain screwed on big time today. Anyway, you can paint it back in that way any way you want to do it. So I'm going to close that one out because I'm not with it right now. And I'm going to go down to this guy right here. And I'm going to open him up. And you can see his face is not exactly a great expression there. And we want to put that one in. So what we'll do is take this guy, hit the V for move tool, drag him over, and then holding down all the way along, I'm just going to let go after I let him there. And the biggest problem we have now is I can't see his eyes to match him up. Some people, the way they do it is they'll take the opacity and they will drop it down and then move the eyes around to match them up. What I like to do is, instead of doing the opacity trick, I'll go from normal to difference. And what that does is you match up the eyes, and when it's perfectly matched up, you will find out that everything will turn black when it's lined up. So we'll get the eyes as close as we can, the mouth as close as we can. and then I'll change it back to normal, which gets me in the ballpark for the picture. It's not perfect. It's not easy. You have to do some masking to go around. Or what I could have done, instead of doing that, go back a couple steps, is just take the eyes, lasso the eyes, and the mouth. We'll do the mouth too. So we'll add the shift key, hold that down. Now I got the eyes and the mouth, put it up on a new layer, let it go, move tool, and then that's not quite there. We're gonna have to do the same thing again, go down to difference. And because it's two different sizes, it makes it a challenge. And it's still not perfect, but it gets you in the ballpark to where you can do some masking. Even the exposure's off a little bit. That's weird. And it gets you in the ballpark really quickly. So the difference mode is amazing how it works. I did some retouching for another photographer last week, and I had to replace glass glare. So I took glasses off one image, put it on another image, and used difference to get them to match up. And it just made it so much easier for me. It's unbelievable. So that's the difference mode. And we'll do goodbye. See you later. And this one's a fun one to work with. What I'm going to do is I am going to take this door and change the color of the door. Right now it's set to hue and saturation mode. I already pre-did this long time ago. So I'm just going to double click on the hue and saturation mode. And what I can do is bring the saturation up, and you can pick the color of the door that you want. So let's say we want a dark green. So we'll bring it down, lightness, darkness, and it keeps all the detail in there. Or if you want to do it another way, what you could do is command click. That's not going to work, because that's, never mind. I'm not even going to try that. I don't have a good selection there. But what I did was change the door. That's the original. And so what I did is I selected basically the color of the door, changed it to green. So changed my mind. I'm going to use the hue and saturation mode and just totally tweak it. And there you go. A nice red front door. That's what everybody wants on their house, right? Pink. So you can adjust it in the hue and saturation. And to get to hue and saturation, all you have to do is click on the little yin and yang symbol right here, which is your adjustment layers. Go down to hue and saturation and do whatever you want to do with it. So any questions on that one? Okay, let's do, I've shown this one before, but I'll show it one more time just for fun. The pizza. And this is how you tell what your layers are all about. So what I did is I started with the crust, and the next layer up is going to be the sauce. Get rid of the sauce, and we got cheese. Add some pepperoni. If you don't like that much pepperoni, what you can do is take the move tool, V for move. We'll drop it down so it's hidden there, or you can mask it out, either one. So if we didn't want to do that and we wanted to mask it, you just click on the layer mask right here, which looks like a square donut. Go make sure that you're on the mask itself. This one's outlined with a black line around it. B for brush. Make sure you're in black because black hides. Take out that one. We'll take out this one. Because pepperoni is bad for you. It's full of grease and really bad.
Yes, but it's also good.
Oh, definitely so good. When I make pizza at home, I'll take my pepperonis, throw them, a stack of them or a whole bunch on a paper towel, put them in the microwave for like 45 seconds, and it's just mouth-watering good. And we got the green peppers on there. If you don't like that many green peppers, well, whoops. We will add a layer mask and just we'll make them peppers light. So we'll go to 40% opacity on our brush. And now you got light peppers. If I was at 100% opacity, it would take them all out, or you can paint them all back in. The reason to work with layers is if you change your mind, you can fix it. If you use the eraser tool, so let's say I took the eraser tool, E for eraser, make the brush bigger so I can see it, take it out, and then we'll add a new layer, and we'll paint with, let's do a nice orange onto there. And I'm going to change that from normal mode to color. And you can see instead of having the harsh painted lines on there, it's actually taking the texture that's underneath it and painting color on top of it. If I were to do the same thing, so I'll do a Command J, which is shortcut for adding a new layer. And instead of making it color mode, I'll change it to normal. You see how it changed it to, there's no opaqueness to it. Opacity is like, there's your brush. But if you change the mode on it to, say, multiply, it darkens. Screen, it lightens. Overlay does all kinds of weird stuff to it. That works with the midtones. Difference, turned it black because the layer below it's the same thing. And if you go down to color, it just takes the color and adds to your textures that are there. But now we got to go back and fix our pepper that we erased out. And because I didn't use the masking tool, I used the eraser, I can't go back and fix it unless I go back to my eraser, which is in my history, but then I lose everything I just did. So if I had used the layer mask, I could go back and mask it in, like my pepperonis. And let's go ahead and click on the layer mask there. We'll paint with white, paint them back in. Now they're back. So that's why you use the layer mask versus the eraser tool. It's non-destructive editing.
Now add more pizza, more pepperoni back into it now.
You want more? You want more pepperoni? We can do that. Da 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 da. There you go.
That's more like it.
That's how you do pepperoni. Well, that's not even enough pepperoni. Do a couple down here. And I'm just hitting Command J, which adds more pepperoni to it. That doesn't want to go outside, so I'll just hit Command T, which is free transform, tweak it a little bit off to the side. There we go. Now that's how you do a pepperoni pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you cook it all the way so the pepperoni is nice and crispy. So any questions? No questions? Let's open up these two really quick, be our last demo. I've got a Thunderbird airplane flying along the sky there, and I like to play around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my W for object selection tool. I'm going to lasso these, or I could wait for it to catch up and do the lasso itself. And it only did a little bit of the smoke coming out, so let's add some more smoke. And we're going to go Command J to bring them up on their own layer. So you can see what we got. And I'll take these, use the move tool, drag it over to this one over here. Command T to free transform. And we'll move it up a little bit so it's like coming out of the picture. They're dive bombing him. And if you don't like how hard the smoke is there, what you can do is go in with the brush and your masking. So we masked it, brush, go to the black color down here. All you have to do is hit X. In fact, let's go ahead and get a different brush for that. Let's go ahead and do rough round bristle, something funky. We'll make it big, and we'll go about 40%. It doesn't look like it's doing hardly anything. Let's do 100% on it then. That's doing a little bit better. You can see I'm just kind of making it so the smoke's not perfectly straight. And this is probably not the right brush to do this with, but just kind of playing with it. Again, this is like on the fly that I'm doing this. I didn't play with this at all. I just kind of figured we'd try it and see what happens. So those guys are moving at 600 knots, just about ready to crash into this guy who's doing a roll right in front of them. That's what you get for showing off in front of your coworkers. Hey, you got to have fun with it. Why not? So that kind of concludes today. I told you it's going to be short and sweet, and it was very short, not very sweet. My brain is malfunctioning today, so.
One layer mode that I really like, and not really a mode, but the claw is extremely handy.
Okay, we can show that real quick. Let me go back to share screen. And what Bruce is talking about, close this guy out. Command W, don't save. Command W, don't save. We'll go back to the pizza because the claw is going to work on that. There we go. Pizza, pizza, pizza. You can see right here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers there. If I want to work on a layer that has everything put together, I could flatten this image out and do that. I don't want to do that because that's destructive. Non-destructively is called the claw. Jim DiVitale, who's no longer with us, showed me this. You hit Shift Option Command or Shift Alt Control E, and you can see that it added a whole brand new layer up here. So I could turn off all the layers below, and I still have this layer here. And if I want to do anything to it, such as masking, I can take out whatever I want, doing the same thing again, using the same brush. So it's making it kind of rough. But if I turn the layers back on again, it comes back. Turn the layers off, and it's the same thing. So you can work non-destructively, and if I did the eraser tool again, it would not be it would be destructive because you can't go back and fix it once you do it. So thanks for bringing up the claw. I appreciate that. That definitely works. And let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, stop share. Cool.
What was the command for the claw?
The command is Control Alt Shift or Command Option Shift.
Is that also a
Indeed.
command from the top, from edit, from the one of the other top choices?
There is a
Merge or something?
it's stamp visible. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I just use the keyboard shortcut so I don't have to go looking for it. Layer. There should be a stamp visible in there, but it's go to help. I have not done this for so long, except using the keyboard shortcut. Merge visible. So that would work too.
I think the merge visible actually takes the visible items and compresses them down to one layer, and the other ones have gone away.
Okay.
Go away.
Yeah, it would. I don't see the command in there anymore. You know where it's at, Bruce?
Oh. Okay. Photoshop. Go on. Means we've got to get another computer up and going. quickly.
Yeah, I don't see it in there, so I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry. I was looking in there and I couldn't find it. Just remember the claw. Shift Alt Control or Shift Option Command if you're on a Mac, and E, the letter E, which is the claw and everything. E for everything. And I've noticed a lot of things where I don't even know where to find them anymore because I use keyboard shortcuts all the time. So it's killer. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording now so you can start asking questions.